Obviously, unique schedule, right? Just got off the field with the guys here. Had yesterday off with the travel and everything rolling into the bye. So guys got a little extra time to rest and recover. Slept in today, cleaned up the tape. I thought their attitude and their response to the film was really, really good. There's positives to be able to build off of. Thought the start was good. The way the defense came out and attacked early on was excellent to see. Again, obviously some things that need to be cleaned up as we go forward with it, but bright spots that need to be, multiplied and magnified, and the self-inflicted wounds, again, kind of the story and theme of the year thus far. I know there's going to be questions about. We got to rectify those wrongs so that we can be in a better position to control the controllables and give ourselves a chance to win in a four-quarter fight. But excited about the growth of our team, excited about this week and the way that our guys have started off things this morning so we can grow and we can get better.
Who needs the bye week more, your offensive line problems or the quarterback to get healthy?
I think the whole team's going to benefit from it, right? To be able to take this time to reset, to get back to the basics and make sure that we're great with our fundamentals, and to, again, take a moment as a staff to self-evaluate, to do some self-scout and really dive into, there's some things obviously that we feel like are our strengths, to make sure that we know that those are our strengths and build out a great plan as we move forward with the next section of the schedule here.
Coach, the penalties and looking at the tape, was there anything to take from watching the game back and seeing with the penalties any connection to one to the other?
There's lessons to be learned through all of it, right? Again, the ones that are completely within our control, right, where our emotions are getting the better of us, our lack of situational understanding of where the ball is relative to blocks that are being decided to make, and just, knowing that, hey, in those moments, sometimes the block is no block, and that's the play, right? There's great lessons to be learned from that, and we'll grow from those lessons. And, again, hopefully as we move forward, not hope, the number of penalties will go down, and we'll put ourselves in a better position to be successful, down in and down out.
How do you explain the procedure calls?
Lots of new guys working together, new quarterback, new cadence, right? There's a lot of pieces that go into that.
In that regard, what do you do to get rid of those false starts?
Give the guys a couple extra tools, right, and make sure that there's consistency within, no matter who the quarterback is, with the flow and the rhythm of their cadence.
What can you focus on offensively during this bye week that can help set you guys up for the remainder of the season?
Doing the basic things at an elite level and making the routine the routine. Identification of the front, being on the same page communication-wise, making sure that our guys have a clear and concise understanding of the conceptual calls so that when calls are being made, they're seeing it the same way that we are coaching it. And then when the opportunities present themselves to fit on a block proper, we do that. When the opportunity presents itself to play pitch and catch, we play pitch and catch, right? But there's no secret sauce. There is no special magical pixie dust that we're going to shake over this thing, right? We're going to get back to the basic building blocks and do those basic things at a more consistent and higher level, and then the results will come as a byproduct of that.
These injuries, is there anything specific on a bye week that you can do to evaluate the quarterback position that you couldn't during a typical week during the season?
Get everyone healthy, right? Get everyone able and ready to play, and then where we're at and what we're able to do, maximize the reps on the field to, again, build that connection and build the relationship within the throw game and within the whole offensive unit as a whole.
9 different receivers caught a ball against Cal. How important is having that diversity of targets for when this fast offense really gets cooking?
Yeah, when the number of playmakers that you're able to have and have that equal distribution so that whether you're throwing it inside the numbers, outside the numbers, downfield, or at the line of scrimmage, to have that number of guys that can play pitch and catch, and then, gives us freedom and flexibility to be creative with the play designs, to be able to maximize each one of those guys' skill sets in a different way, to create some space and then allow them to use their skills and their abilities the way that, Napier did the other day and maximize those opportunities by getting that speed in space.
How does practice differ this week compared to a game week?
Yeah. A little bit shorter, right? We won't be on the field for quite as long. We'll do a little bit, again, kind of going back to those building blocks where when you're in the normal game flow, just out of the necessity of scout time and game prep, you have to give a little bit back from the individual fundamental time. So we'll have a little bit more fundamental time, but again, just a little bit tighter, a little bit crisper, a little bit more fundamental time, and then the guys will have a little bit extra days off at the end of the week, again, just to be able to rest, recover, reset, and then attack the full week of prep for Central Michigan once we hit to game week.
What does the staff do, especially toward the end of the week where you don't have a game to prepare for?
Yeah, we're going to be out and about. Talent acquisition never stops, and be able to go get some live evaluations of kids that are on our board for this 25 class and beyond. So, we'll be all over the state. A couple guys will leave the state to be able to go, check in on, guys that are a part of our family and other future Aztecs that we're looking to bring into the family.
What other states will you head to?
We'll be heading to Colorado, and not this bye week, but the next opportunity that we get, we'll be heading down to Texas as well.
And then you touched on briefly, how much of it is touching base with guys who've already committed and how much of it is looking for other guys that you can?
It's always a constant communication of both, right? I mean, making sure that, again, that's something that we do daily, and now when we have the opportunity to maximize to be able to get out and, do it in person to go get the evaluations, with this just being an evaluation phase, it's just an opportunity to go, not necessarily have contact with them in person because it's not that phase, but an opportunity to be able to watch them play, go through warm-ups, right? Get a great live eval and check in with the counselors and teachers and, make sure that the individuals that, are on our board and committed to us, right, are those people that we know to be true. And again, just, touch base with all the people that are in the building, interacting with them each and every single day.
I feel like a lot of it's re-recruiting guys all the time.
I mean, yeah, it's never done until they're here, right? I mean, that's just the nature of what it is another opportunity to compete. And, we got great kids that we're engaging with each and every single day. So, again, it's an opportunity to go get after it and to win those recruiting battles.
Speaking of recruiting, does it feel different now that your driver's license will say Pac-12 membership? Will that open doors to different types of kids for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, it obviously puts us, at the forefront of conversations with guys that, want to play at the highest level possible, and being able to recruit to that in the future and having that a part of the pitch is absolutely a game changer for us.
What's the value, Sean, for Danny to get a chance to watch from the sidelines in that setting? What can be learned from his seat?
Yeah, I mean, I think being able to detach and to be able to see it and know and understand, the nuances of how it's all tied together. It's just a different perspective to be able to learn and to grow from. So there's a real advantage in that regard.
It seemed like he also was still on the bench. I saw him with a tablet at one point and point some things out. It
Yep.
seemed like he was still pretty engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, like every single guy that came on that trip was adding value in some way. And, again, a lot of it, there's only so many guys that get to play, right? But there's guys that are stepping up in a lot of different ways, whether it's, a coaching point here or there or offering encouragement, and all those things that go into a well-connected team. So, yeah, he wasn't in between the lines making plays, but there's things that he's seen. There's knowledge that he has from the reps that, he's earned thus far, right? That he's given to Vance and that they're talking through so that he can have success. I mean, we've talked about it all along. As heated as that competition has been, those kids and Coach Matty J have done a great job of their connection and the relationships that they have and the bonds that they have in that room to be each other's biggest cheerleaders regardless of who's receiving the snaps.
How far away is Danny from being able to practice or being allowed to practice?
He'll be good. I mean, he'll be able to get good reps this week. Yep.
Coach, talk a little about the defensive line. Trey White, Alalu, first play of the game, sack.
Yep.
Teams in the game until, middle of third quarter. Talk a little bit about the defense and progress they made.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking strides each and every single week. We knew that we wanted to, set the tone early on. Obviously, we didn't like the way that we started week 2. So I thought Coach Smith, did a great plan and, giving confidence to the unit with the way that he called it early and all the way through. And those guys feed off that, right, as we go forward with it. Again, we got some real playmakers on that side of the ball that, between Trey, between Tano, between Chris Johnson, those guys have become consistent mainstays at all 3 levels and really looking for them to, grow as leaders and set the tone this week as we go forward about, again, the standards and the expectations, them taking hold of it, them taking ownership of it, and them continuing to elevate not just the defensive side of the ball, right, but the whole program as a whole, and growing in that regard. But, again, we're pleased with the growth that we've shown, not nearly satisfied of where we're capable of, and obviously need to have the competitive maturity down in and down out so that we don't give up the explosive runs. And if we do, get ourselves backed up into the red zone a little bit, that, we dig in and we fight and we don't surrender touchdowns, but hold opponents to the field goals and fight and finish each and every single drive, which will lead to, fighting and finishing through the quarters and the games, and we'll end up on the right side of the ledger.
Can you talk about where White has made the biggest jump and where Latelli has made the most impressive thing to you?
Yeah, I mean, with Trey, it's just learning the nuances of the position, and you see that growth each and every single week, right? I mean, just with him going from level 2 down to level 1 with a positional change and attention to detail to his craft has put him in a great position to be successful. And then Tano, just again, the conceptual understanding of what we're doing within each one of the calls and knowing why we're in those calls relative to what we're seeing from the offense so that he can help not only get himself in position to be successful, but to set the front and to make sure that, everyone in front of him is in position so that we can execute the call that's being made. Now, again, we got to do that consistently, down in and down out, but that's where with both those kids, I've seen the biggest strides and the biggest growth.
You talk about the fake punt. How do you decide at what point that's the time to unveil that, and then talk about how it did unfold?
Yeah, I mean, so we spend a lot of time on special teams. Coach Barton does a tremendous job, with that. Our kids are completely bought into, the competitive advantage I feel that we have, and just felt like at that moment in the game it was an opportunity to steal a possession, and the kids executed it great. I mean, Tyler dropped a dime out there. Owen made a contested catch. I mean, it was a less than ideal look to what you want to do it to, but again, it just speaks volumes to the confidence that the kids had in the call. And we talked about it, post game in terms of going with the fake punt or with the fourth down, attempts and all those different things, right? Like, it's one thing to say, hey guys, I believe in you, and we're going to call this thing to win it, but those are words, and talk is cheap. Like, if you don't back that up with action, then the kids are going to look at you like, coach, you're a hypocrite, right? So we got some tricks in our bag, and we're going to utilize them all and do the things that we feel like we need to give our team a competitive advantage. And I think week after week, as you see what we do on special teams and opposing coaches see it, like, it becomes a pretty complex and challenging prep, that gives us, again, a competitive advantage as we move forward with it. And then it gets more and more buy-in with the kids that they want to be a part of it. That, hey, I do the base things at a high level, then, man, we're going to scheme some things up where I can get a catch or I can make a throw. And, again, we want to utilize all the playmakers and all the athletes that we have in all facets of the game that we can.
Which does that get excitement generated more so than just any other first game?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a cool, unique thing, right, where guys are able to kind of step out of their normal role because they're doing their normal role at such a high level. They've built trust where, okay, hey, now Tyler, you have this other skill set, and because you're doing the base thing that we're asking you to do at such an elite level, now your garden can grow, and we can ask you to make a good decision and do this over here. So again, like, I think it gives the team excitement, but then it also builds the credibility, the relationship, the trust that if I do what I'm being asked to do in the role that I've been earned, that I've been given because of my work, well, then that role is going to grow, right? And so then, bang, special teams leads to an extra possession for the offense. Now, where we got to do a better job is playing complementary football, and we earn that extra possession. Well, now we got to go do something with it, right? Like, hey, okay, we scored. Now we have to not just surrender a score. Hey, we gave up a score. We have to respond and go answer a score with a score and start playing complementary football and building momentum within the flow and framework of the game. But by getting a fake punt and having that situation, right, it should build that momentum that we need to then sustain and breathe throughout the whole game, phase after phase, in the way that the team is connected in that regard.
How big a challenge is it to have two green quarterbacks right from the get-go and have to go through the ups and downs of the learning curve?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity because of the growth that they get to have. I don't see it as a challenge. I mean, there's going to be the obvious growing pains that we all see and that we all feel, and that's not just the quarterback. It's the whole offensive overhaul that we are going through and that we're working through. But again, like, without those growing pains and without the opportunities to learn, right? Like, if we're not stressed in tests, then we're never going to know how special something can become, right? So I think it's awesome for those guys to learn from each other. It's been great to see other guys step up and make contested catches, and guys step up and pass pro and know that, all right, hey, like, I got to be right so that the guy who's making the decisions and pulling the trigger can be right as well. So that's been really, really cool to see, and it's a tremendous opportunity for our offense to continue to grow around whoever happens to be receiving those snaps.
During practice, the drills themselves help with the physical aspect of the game. Is there anything that you can do to really hyper-focus on the mental part of the game to eliminate some of those mental mistakes?
Yeah, spend more time with the tape, right? Have more conversations about the concepts so that there's a better understanding in all three phases of what we're trying to get done in each one of those calls. But I mean, there's, again, now we have 3 weeks worth of tape against quality opponents that we can learn and that we can grow from by spending a little bit extra time with the time that we do have, with the tape. And again, just having a better understanding of how this all fits together.
Coach, much gets made about the difficulty for Pacific time zone teams going to Eastern time zone. The game next Saturday, 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 local.
That's been set?
Was announced by the athletic department earlier today.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome, neat. Awesome.
So when do the preparations go for that, and how may things change in terms of the days leading up to it next week?
I mean, for us, we've built our schedule in a manner that we feel gives our kids the most optimal situation to rest, recover, and maximize their performance, right? So whether it's 7:30 Pacific time, it's 12:30 Eastern time, like put the ball down. It's in Michigan, it's in California, it's in Antarctica, like, so what now? Let's go play, right? I mean, and that'll time up well for our kids' internal, body clock, because again, we're practicing, we're out on the field at 8:40 each morning for our walkthrough, and they are accustomed to, rolling and going at that time. When you get an opportunity to sleep in and have a later start, like, none of these kids are going to turn down an opportunity to get a little extra sleep, a little extra rest, right? So again, like, they're eager and excited to play whenever they get the opportunity to. So, let's put the ball down, let's go play.
Do you wake up in the middle of the night screeching about behind the change, long distance plays, 3rd and 30 and all that? Is it?
I wake up in the middle of the night for a lot of different reasons. That'd be a much longer conversation than we probably have here right now. But yeah, being off schedule, right? Like, not ideal, right? And so again, like, we're working each and every single day to, again, stay on schedule, eliminate the penalties, and putting our kids in the best position to be successful with the concepts that they have a great understanding of, and closing the gap of why we've just been, a half click off here and there with some of the things that we're trying to get done. But obviously, that's not the way that you want to be calling the game, right? Off schedule it's not advantageous for anyone, no matter, who you are or at what level it is.
Did you face, Sean, the last time you faced Central Michigan, Kent State, because it was unbalanced, did you face much of this coaching staff?
We did one time. Yep, played them in 2021 was the one and only time that we went out there because they were on the other side of the conference. Yep.
So you have familiarity, obviously, for your team. You don't.
We do.
Having coached in the MAC, is there? You look forward to the opportunity to coach against a team in that league coming up a week from now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great league. Obviously, Coach McElwain does a tremendous job. Him and his staff have been together for a very long time, kind of going through and obviously, looking at their roster and getting a deeper familiarity of who they are. There's a lot of production that they have coming back from a year ago. And there's still, there's some names pulling back that old scouting report from 2021 that are still on the roster and everything, right? So, unique challenge, and a great staff, great players. So, again, just kind of like the kids, anytime we get to go play, anytime that we get to go compete and coach, I feel very, very fortunate to be able to do that. So, anytime you get to do that against a great competitor, again, with the experience that Coach McElwain has and his staff, it'll be a great challenge.
Sean, have you paid any attention to what Boise, Fresno, Vegas have done coming out of the gate? What are your thoughts on the conference?
Strong. I mean, it's a good league, top to bottom. Knew those teams were, picked at the top, obviously, in the preseason rankings and everything, right? And they've obviously come out and are clicking on all cylinders. I mean, for UNLV to, 2 times now go on the road and beat 2 Big 12 opponents, it's a great job by Coach Odom and his staff. And obviously looking forward to those opportunities that are coming later down range. But right now, I'm focused on the present and making sure that our ball club is doing what they need to do and that we're pouring into them as we go forward.
What are you going to do this weekend in particular, recruiting-wise?
I'll be out and about as soon as we get off the field on Thursday. I'll have my rental keys in hand and go visit as many high school, as many players, as many coaches as possible to make sure that there's only one spot if you're in Southern California where you need to be going. It's right here at San Diego State.
Is there a particular area that you go to, or is it just wherever?
All of Southern California. Yep.
Anything else for Coach?
Cool. Thanks, guys.